Good afternoon. Our group is conformed by Catalina Galán, Juliana Dueñas, and me, Felipe Ordos Goitia. We are going to present you the negotiation between Colombia and Nicaragua for the sovereignty of San Andrés and Providence Island. The archipelago of San Andrés and Providence has been part of Colombia since 1928. Since December of 2001, Nicaragua has been fighting for the sovereignty of the archipelago of San Andrés. Nicaragua's position. We as a nation demand a new maritime boundary between both countries. In other words, we are asking to the court the grant of some territories such as islands, islets, and keys, because we consider that geographically San Andrés is closer to our country. Colombia's position. From the beginning of our life as an independent nation, we have been practicing in a peaceful, public, and uninterrupted way our sovereignty and jurisdiction over the archipelago of San Andrés, including the Roncador, Quitasueño, Serrana, Serranilla, Bajo Nuevo, and Alburquerque Keys, and all maritime areas that correspond us. This position is supported by the history and the law in the rule pact sunt servant, which are fundamental principles of public international law.
For this negotiation, we are going to explain and apply three intercultural theories seen in the text and class: Lewis, Hofstede, and Hall theories. Colombia, according to Richard Lewis' theory, expressed in the book When Cultures Collide. Colombia strongly reflects its history as a colony of Spain. It is often referred to as the most Roman Catholic of the South American countries. Colombians share the following characteristics: reasonable punctuality, honesty, good conversation, friendship, generosity, traditional habits, poor correlation between law and actual life, extreme politeness, and loyalty. Regarding leadership and status, wealth is an important factor and is becoming increasingly so. University professors, doctors, and leading church figures are respected. In a business context, Colombians would like a leader who is midway between being very strong and weak, someone with analytical skills and vision, but the ability to see another's point of view when making decisions. Relating space and time. In general terms, Colombians feel comfortable closer to people than Northern Europeans and Americans, but it also depends on the relationship. With strangers, Colombians maintain distance. With friends and family, they are more physically intimate, like touching someone's arms when speaking. Punctuality is very important for Colombians. It is a matter of culture and respect for the other person. Communication pattern. Colombians are verbose by nature. They express ideas in an eloquent manner. Their conversation is often versatile. Humor is used frequently in business discussions, anecdotes being extremely popular. Communication style varies according to the area of origin.
Nicaragua focus their culture on values. They are a group loyalty. They are very pacifistic. They are family close. They are saving face at all costs. They have historical perspective. They are national honor. In leadership and status, they are very autocratic. They know how to manage space and time. That punctuality is not a high priority. Their communication is patterned. They respect to discuss issues at length, speaking the agreement or conversation of the other. Nicaragua are courteous and polite listeners' behavior at meetings and negotiations. They rarely discuss details at plenary sections.
Colombia according to Hofstede's theory of culture. Colombia has a high scale in power distance, which means that it is a society that believes that inequalities amongst people are simply a fact of life. In terms of individualism, Colombia has a score of 13 among the lowest individual score. This means it is one of the most collectivistic cultures in the world. Relationships are more important than attending to the task at hand. Regarding masculinity versus femininity, Colombia is a masculine society, highly success-oriented and driven. Colombians are competitive and status-oriented, yet collectivistic rather than individualistic. This means that competition is directed towards members of other groups or social classes, not toward those who are perceived as members of your own in-group. Talking about uncertainty avoidance, Colombia with a score of 80 has a high uncertainty avoidance, which means that as a nation they are seeking mechanisms to avoid ambiguity. Finally, emotions are openly expressed. Religion, which is respected, is followed by many and it is conservative.
In Nicaragua, individualism is very low. Collectivism is a very important role because for some reasons of loyalty and protection. Power distance is one of the lowest in Latin America. Everyone is seen as almost the same. Rich and poor is not an indicator of who should have more power. Masculinity versus femininity. Everyone is to be treated equal. Uncertainty avoidance. Nicaragua is predominantly a Catholic country. This religion is very high in Nicaragua. For this reason, what they believe is one true God. Catholicism is so high in uncertainty. Long-term orientation. They have a long-term orientation. They value their culture and religion. Families and values have a high importance. According to all cultural factors, Colombia and Nicaragua have a low context factors. Overness of message. Many over and explicit messages that are simple and clear. Locus of control and attribution for failure. Outer locus of control and blame of others for failure. Use of non-verbal communication. More focus of verbal communication than body language. Expression of reaction. Visible, external, aware reaction, flexibility of time. Time is high organized. Both countries apply monochronic time, which means doing one thing at a time. Both countries have a high territoriality. Concerns for ownership at greater national levels. Many wars have been fought over boundaries. Security become a subject of great concern for people.
Some of the strategies applied by Colombia and Nicaragua are: Nicaragua, intimidation, manipulation, and cards on the table, which means to state the case clearly and completely. On the other hand, Colombia applied cards on the table and patents. Some of the consequences and outcomes of this negotiation are: what the court already defined, the validity of Esguerra Bárcenas Treaty of 1928-1930, Colombian sovereignty over the archipelago of San Andrés, and specifically San Andrés, Providence, and Santa Catalina Islands, what the court is pending to define, the sovereignty of the rest of territories that are part of San Andrés, and the maritime boundary between Colombia and Nicaragua.
Now we can see some suggestions for people negotiating with Nicaraguans and Colombians. What people shouldn't do in a negotiation with Colombians: loss of face for anyone, patronizing them, focusing too much on other problems such as drugs and cartels, discussing bribery and politics in general.
What people shouldn't do in a negotiation with Nicaraguenses, causing Nicaraguans to lose face. Asking about how much Indian blood they have, it's a matter of status.